6 unknown people who created some of the world's best inventions. 1. The first person to ride a horse. The Botai people lived in Kazakhstan 5,600 years ago. Their culture was centered around horses. The Botai ate horse meat and drank horse milk. They fermented it into a beverage called kumis. They used horse bones for tools, horse hair for rope, and horse skin for leather. When they died, they were buried alongside a horse. The Botai were also the first people to ride horses. They designed the first primitive bridle. The domestication of the horse changed humanity forever. The first Botai horse rider invented speed. For the next 5,000 years, horses remained the fastest way to travel. 2. The first person to paint a masterpiece. The masterpiece in question is 33,000 years old. It was discovered in the Chauvet Cave, France. There are more than 400 paintings in the cave. They were created over 5,000 years of periodic occupation. Then a landslide sealed off the cave's entrance 25,000 years ago. One of the paintings is especially stunning. It's called Panel of the Horses. It was by an early Homo sapiens. 3. The first person to brew a beer. The first brewer lived around 15,000 years ago. It was somewhere around present-day northeast Jordan. That's where the oldest baked cereals were discovered. The brewer was likely a woman. She harvested a wild ancestor of wheat. She made gruel by pounding the seeds and soaking them in water. Once she made her bowl of gruel, it was a short step to beer. All that was required was a stray fleck of yeast and some sunlight. 4. The first person to use a baby sling. This inventor was a young mother in Africa. She was an Australopithecus who lived 3 million years ago. She stood almost 4 feet tall and weighed 65 pounds. Her body was covered in thick dark fur. During the day, she walked upright in search of food. At night, she clambered back into a tree nest. Carrying a baby around was different for upright walkers. So she invented the world's first baby sling. It was a simple loop of vine, wrapped and tied off in a knot. That invention helps parents to this day. 5. The first person to use the bow and arrow. This inventor was most likely a boy. He lived around 64,000 years ago in South Africa. The boy was part of a hunter-gatherer tribe. The tribe made beads, necklaces, and toys. They also made the oldest known stone arrowheads. The bow was invented by accident as a child's toy. Anthropologists believe the child was experimenting. He tied beads to a stick, then tied the 2 ends of a stick together. That would have been the first bow prototype. 6. The first person to eat an oyster. That brave person was also a South African woman. She lived some 164,000 years ago. Plenty of oyster shells were found in caves. Women usually gathered food, while men hunted for meat. A woman likely found the oysters on the beach at low tide. She would have gone back to get more oysters. So she learned how to predict the ocean's tides. This would make her the world's first practical astronomer.